Hello everyone, here's a video showing one of my line and wash paintings in my Lake District Holiday Sketchbook 2024. Hope you enjoy it. I used a Rosa Gallery watercolour tin and it's the urban sketching set, and here's the reference photo. So I start off with an initial sketch using a mechanical pencil to map out the rough shapes I see in the reference photo. Then I draw in some detail in the most important areas. Then I spritz the old watercolours to bring them to life. I make a very watery mix using a little bit of bright red and yellow ochre for the husband's legs and hands. It makes a really good skin colour. Then I'm using yellow ochre to paint in Max's lighter coloured fur. Then a touch of royal brown to map out some shadow areas in his face. Then the eyes are dotted in with pure royal brown. Neutral black is then mixed with a bit of sepia, as Max does have black fur but it's got brown undertones. Then I'm using neutral black to paint in details, and I switch to a liner brush for the more delicate areas like his eyes, where I need to be more precise. I put in some stronger shadows, especially in the areas where I'm differentiating where Max ends and my husband starts, and a suggestion of fur with a few feathery lines of paint. Then onto the clothing which frames Max. I keep the paint light by using a watery wash of colour, then come in with a darker, slightly thicker paint for the shadows and the folds in the materials, and I'm happy for the layers to blend with each other. It's really difficult to get the right blue just using these blues in this watercolour palette, but I added a touch of emerald green to the cobalt blue to try and make it a more turquoisey blue, just to differentiate the two colours of the coat. I use a really watery mix of grey for the background. I just want a hint to suggest that they're actually sitting on the ferry. So anything that you don't want to come forward, make it lighter. The boots are a watery sepia, and on the first layer I use some negative painting to paint around the boot hooks and the laces. Then a bit darker layer for the shadows. And I'm keeping a hard edge next to Max's leg so it stands out. Then onto inking. I'm using a brush pen for Max, feathery strokes for his fluffy ears, and broken lines to suggest fur. I try not to have too many unbroken lines, but there are some areas where Max and the edge of my husband's coat are. It's okay to make the line a bit more solid. You can achieve quite painterly strokes with the brush pen. It's very important to get Max's eyeliner right. I want to make the features on Max stand out, so I using broken lines with the ink pen just to line around them. Also, it's hard to see Max's mouth, so I add some small lines to differentiate this area. As I'm working, I'm constantly making decisions about what I want to come forward and what I want to recede. Then I change to a double 003 fine liner, which is quite a fine liner. It's a fine liner, but a very fine liner for the areas which are further back. And then back to the brush pen for a note on the sketch. I like to add a little note on these sketches so you can remember. Gives you a little bit of a memory jog of where it was. And the close-up of the sketch shows me I needed to add some white, so I'm using my jelly roll pen just to add a few little lines for his whiskers and white hairs in his muzzle, and also some highlights on the eye. And here's the finished sketchbook line and wash painting to remember our trip on the ferry with Max on his holidays. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.